Hello and welcome to another episode of TEVAdrive. And next to me is a 2022 Porsche Cayenne Coupe e-hybrid, which is basically a plug-in hybrid. And it's different from the Cayenne e-hybrid we drove last year, which was a regular Cayenne plug-in hybrid. This is a coupe, so it's much more aerodynamic and it's a higher performance, although the specs are almost identical. This is basically a V6 engine, turbo V6, combined with a 134 horsepower electric motor for a total system horsepower of 455 horsepower, which is exactly the same as the last year's Cayenne hybrid we tested. The only difference is the battery is slightly bigger. This battery here is 18 kilowatt hours, which gives it a rated range of about 51 kilometers, and we'll tell you whether we're able to achieve it or not. And we did it both in hypermile mode and on the highway. So this car, as you see it, the base starts at 101,000 versus the regular Cayenne's 96,000 for the e-hybrid. So this one base 101, as equipped. This press car is 150,000. A lot of options, and yet there's a few options missing from what we would like to see in a $150,000 car. So here it is, you have the typical Porsche, and the lights are on. Hopefully you can see it. The 4-point DRLs, the main headlight is here and the fog lamp is on this side, just like in our Audi. But this is a typical Porsche 4-point LEDs, daylight lights, and then you have another LED here. So the fog lamps are actually built into the main unit here. As we walk around, the car, by the way, right now it's in highest all-terrain position. We'll show you in the video as the car lowers itself from the Sport Plus to all the way to all-terrain. There's quite a bit of clearance, as you can see here. This particular car it comes with a sport package, which gives it 22-inch rims with staggered tires. They're 285 wide in the front and all the way to 315 in the back. So they're very large tires, which affects your electric range, obviously. As you know, we've recently upgraded our tires and rims on our Audi. It did affect our range as well. So the one way you can tell that it's a plug-in hybrid on all the Porsches are the green calipers here with the Porsche name on it, of course. Another badge is right here on the side of the car that says e-hybrid. Now above that you have the SE hybrid, and then top of the line is turbo SE hybrid, which is well over $200,000, but it has well over 600 horsepower versus just 455 for this one. The official acceleration of this car is 5.1 seconds, which puts it very close to our Audi e-tron, which has a similar horsepower, about 400 horses. So let us show you the side of the car, and this is where you can see the profile. You can definitely see that it's a coupe. The top of the car is much lower. It's lower slung, especially the rear room is affected. This car comes with a $10,000 option for a carbon fiber roof. No sunroof, no panorama roof. It's a carbon fiber roof, and it's a $10,000 option. Here on the left, you have the charging port, and the gas filler is on the other side. You have the little LED light while you're charging, the cable unlock button here, and this one, to be honest, we haven't checked what that one does. Let us quickly show you the inside of the car. The car is on right now. It comes with the 18-way adjustable sport seats, and we'll show you the more details of the interior once I sit inside the car. So this coupe, of course, will have less headroom in the back for the rear passengers. This is a 4-passenger car. There is no middle seat. So it's strictly a 4-passenger car, just like the Porsche Taycan. In the back, this is where you can see the difference between the regular Cayenne and the Cayenne Coupe. It's very distinct, just like the Volvo C40 versus XC40. You can tell right away from the back that this is a coupe. It's a completely different shape, and we just extracted the spoiler. We put it in the up position, so it deploys automatically above 90 kilometers per hour, but you can also deploy it manually by pushing a button on the menu on the center screen. So here you have the LEDs, and all the new Cayennes and Cayenne Coupes have the unibrow stretching all the way from one end of the car all the way to the other. And of course the indicators, turn indicators, and reverse lights are all LEDs. Even though this is a base Cayenne, it comes with quad pipes, as the horsepower would suggest, 450 horses. It's a solid sports car. We'll tell you our impressions of how fast we feel it is from our various test drives. So let's jump inside and show you the space on the inside, starting with the front. So first of all, I'm gonna adjust the seat, and of course, just like with most luxury cars, the car, as soon as you turn off the car, the seat will pull itself back, the wheel will go up, but the car is on right now, so it isn't in my comfortable driving position. I like my seats higher, even though when I'm driving an SUV, I like sitting up higher with the front of the seat down. So again, these are 18-way adjustable sports seats with heating and cooling. There is no massage. You can get a massage, it's an extra option. This is similarly, even though this is a $150,000 car, there is no head-up display, and the car does not have adaptive cruise. These are all separate options. So in typical Porsche fashion, you can easily double the price of the car with options. Okay, so again, here it's half the price of the car in options, 150, and some of the important options that we would always order are not here. Basically, so these are sport seats where you can adjust. One of the things you can adjust is the lateral support, and again, as soon as you turn the car on, it kind of hugs you. The sports wheel with Magnetino here to change your modes here. You can change your modes through the center screen options as well. So we'll go through all that in a moment when we take you for a test drive. The double cup holders here, an extra storage here. Here you have an extra storage, not very deep, rather shallow. 2 USB-C ports and your wireless charging port, which is also an option. And the other thing we have to mention, this year, this is the first year, 2022 is the first year when Porsche is actually including Android Auto, finally, and Apple CarPlay. So Apple CarPlay works both wirelessly and wired. Android Auto is strictly wired only, as opposed to some of the other EVs we tested which had wireless Android Auto. For some reason, Porsche only has the wired version of the Android Auto, and we could not use our cable, so we could not use the Android Auto while driving it because it only has USB-C ports. And we did buy one of those cables before, but we rarely use it, so we could not actually plug it in to test the Android Auto in this car. So make sure if you're buying or driving a Porsche that you have a two-way USB-C, so USB-C at both ends of the cable to use the Android Auto. So that's about it. Now, given this comfortable position with my height of 6'4" or 190 centimeters, we'll see what the space looks like in the rear seat, this being a coupe version of the Cayenne. So we'll see how that affects the rear headroom. Let's jump in. Plenty of space, beautiful. I mean, of course, I raised the seat a little bit. Plenty of space for your feet. The battery is actually in the trunk. And lots of space for your knees as well. Not a huge amount of room, this being a coupe. But this one doesn't have a sunroof, so we're not sure how the headroom would be in the car equipped with a panorama roof. But here with this carbon fiber roof, the headroom is decent, but not huge. Obviously, all coupe, even including SUVs, the headroom will be affected by the shape of the rear of the car. So this is strictly a four-seater, but you still have a little storage compartment here, plus your regular two cup holders here, and your 60/40 split seat in the back. Let's show you the trunk space. But before we go, let's just make a note of the the rear heating and air conditioning, the climate system. You have the center vents here. You also have vents in the B-pillars, as this class of car would requires that you have these vents both on the B-pillars and on the center console. And you have your separate controls for climate here available to both passengers. And you also have double USB-Cs and a 12-volt outlet here. Some additional storage here as well for the passengers, and the pockets here behind each seat. All right, let's show you the trunk space. So quite a spacious trunk, not as big as the regular Cayenne. And here below the deck, you can see where the spare wheel would be positioned in a regular Cayenne, but this plug-in hybrid has a battery here, so there is no spare tire. There's simply a tire repair kit located here. And there is no space for cables, unfortunately. So your cables come in a bag that's attached. Actually, you can strap it to the corner of the trunk. This one is not strapped, but these are your charging cables. And the Porsche cables are different than Audi cables. They come in a very fancy package that is both, you can see, level 2. This plugs into either your dryer or your stove outlet. I never know which one is which, but it's definitely level 2, 240 volts. And this is your fancy Porsche charging cable, which comes with a screen in the middle. So you can actually choose your options, and it tells you what it's doing on the screen here. It's one of the very few charging cables. Even our Audi doesn't have it. Only Porsches have this cable with a screen right on it. And there's all the hardware to attach it to your wall. So again, most of the manufacturers specify that you shouldn't be using it as for your daily charging. However, I guess you can, because it's both level 1 and level 2. This car, the standard is 3.3 kilowatts. This plug-in hybrid has a 7 kilowatt option, so it's an extra option. I think it was around $2,000. You can check on the Porsche website. So it comes with upgraded charger of up to 7 kilowatts, but it does not have the level 3 charging option as some of the European plug-in hybrids have. The first one that will have that option, of course, we know that there was a Mitsubishi Outlander. There's a chance that the new Range Rover plug-in hybrid, when it arrives here later this year, will have the DC fast charging option up to 50 kilowatts. This Porsche Cayenne e-hybrid does not, only strictly level 1 and level 2. So there's some storage compartments on the left and the right. You can see here there's buttons here to basically close and open. You can open the 4060 the bench. You press this. You can also lower and raise the car for easier access for loading stuff. And then there's just access to all the electronics and stuff. So that's about it. This car does not seem to come with the bumper kick option. I don't think it's a Porsche thing. We did not see it on the list of options either. So you just have to press the button. In that way, it's pretty manual. Okay, so that's about it for the walk around. Let's jump in and take you for a spin. All right, here we are inside the Cayenne e-hybrid, model year 2022. And this is a coupe. The first thing, as you notice, as you get inside, is the dark interior here, which is the dark Alcantara, dark dashboard, and the dark interior, dark seats, and dark roof, because there is no sunroof or panorama roof. This car comes with a $10,000 carbon roof option, so it appears even darker because of it. This car, the interior, the options, the buttons are identical to the regular Porsche Cayenne e-hybrid that we drove a year ago. So you can refer to the various options on the screens, both center screen and the main screen, in that video. So we'll just mention some of the differences, as we already mentioned at the beginning of the video. The difference is the larger battery. It's 18 kilowatt hours, which gives this car at full, it gives the car about 51 kilometers range. The range is affected. Let's turn the car on. There we go. The car is on, and you can see here that the consumption on the highway where we drove was 33 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So it's pretty, high consumption. Why? One of the reason is that this car is equipped with very wide tires, 285 in the front, 315 in the back, 22-inch rims. Even though we were using it in the e-power mode, which puts it down low, the car is using, and especially with air conditioning today, was 30-degree temperature. We are using air conditioning. That affects the power consumption as well. So on the highway, the 18 kilowatt hour battery, using legal speeds, following traffic today, we were able to drive about 35 kilometers on the highway. When we hypermiled it in the city, we were definitely able to reach the rated range of 51 kilometers, no problem, even with the climate on. But that's about the maximum you can squeeze out of this car, equipped with those particular tires, which are quite fat. So again, the different drive modes, we're just going to quickly mention that the drive mode is e-power. You can put it in hybrid, and then once you're in hybrid, you can choose the hybrid mode here. You have the hybrid auto, e-hold, which holds the charge, or e-charge. So today, after the battery was depleted, once we hit the highway, we put it in e-charge mode, and in the 50 kilometers or so between the first en route on Highway 400 northbound, north of Toronto, just at around the King Road, all the way to Barrie, which is about 50-60 kilometers, we were able to recharge about half the battery, so not bad. We had half the battery, or 15-16 kilometer range recharge in only 50 kilometers on the highway. Of course, that e-charge mode uses more gas, and you can even feel it when the car is in the neutral or you stopped at the red light. It actually vibrates more when you are in e-charge mode, because the engine is operates at a lower RPM, and it's doing more work charging the battery, so you have like a bit more vibration to it as well. So as soon as you put it in e-hold, the engine will turn on and you will hear it. Maybe not when you're stopped. And let's try e-charge. And there we go. You can hear the sport exhaust. And of course, you can choose your chassis height. So right now, as you notice, the car was very high. So we were in terrain mode, which works only up to about 30 kilometers per hour. Then you have the high, regular, and low. As soon as you put it in Sport Plus, basically it goes into the lowest possible position. So we're gonna take it down to high, and you can see the imagery of the car actually going down, which it would go down anyways. Then you can also open up the sport exhaust, or you can make it quieter, and you can fold the spoiler. So right now the spoiler is unfolded. It automatically deploys above 90 kilometers per hour no matter what you do. But you can, right now we're stopped, we're gonna close it. Retract the spoiler, you have to hold the button. There you go, and the spoiler is going down. So you have to hold your finger on the button to lower the spoilers. And we will not use the sport exhaust system. We don't want to wake up the villagers. So we're gonna use the regular exhaust right now. In fact, since we're going around the village, we should probably just start you off in pure electric mode. It's pretty quiet. So drive mode, and we'll put it in e-power. And the engine is off right away. Okay, nice. All the climate controls are here. Your cruise control, as we mentioned, this car is not equipped with the adaptive cruise. The base adaptive cruise is 2000, fully equipped with lane change and auto steer is about 4000. So there's the various options for adaptive cruise. This car only has regular cruise control. So we will not bother using it, but all the controls are here. You have your volume controls and other menu options here on the right and left of the steering wheel. The Manettino here, which changes your modes here. So you can change your drive modes with this knob, or through the options here on the button and the center screen. All right, so we're gonna put it in our consumption mode. So your trip, so car, and trip. The statistics are all here. We can keep it on that. So let's put it in drive and let's take you for a spin. We're gonna start you off in the very quiet e-drive mode. You can hear the sound already. Of course, if we open the window, you would hear it even more. But there is a very loud pedestrian warning sound that's activated below 30 kilometers per hour, and it goes to zero. The noise goes to zero once you drive above 30 kilometers per hour. Climate in auto. It's gonna be a little noisier, but it's getting warm inside the car. The temperature outside is 30 degrees, even though it's windy, but we don't want to open the windows, so we're gonna turn the climate on auto. So there will be a bit of a noise from the climate system. So there we go. As soon as we reach 30 kilometers per hour, the pedestrian warning sound is deleted. It goes completely silent. All right. So here you have the power band indicator on the left. It shows you how hard you're pushing it. And then you have the max sign here. Once you go push the accelerator beyond the max, the engine will come on automatically, even if you're in e-drive mode. So the car will basically know. Once we drove it before, there was a steep hill, and the car was in cruise control, and the car felt that it had to turn on the engine going up a steep hill, and then it took a long time before you could turn off the engine for some reason. So the car simply told us that the e-drive mode is not available. So the as we mentioned, the electric consumption, as you can see, it's 33.5. It's pretty high. It's a sports car and it has very wide tires, so that affects the range. However, in city driving, you're still able to reach 50 kilometers in pure electric, which is enough for a lot of the commuters. For example, anyone commuting from Etobicoke to downtown Toronto, from Mississauga to downtown Toronto, you can basically do a round trip. Or if you happen to be in an office building and downtown is full of them, one of those buildings that has level 2 chargers, you're good to go. You can commute even further. As you know, as a Toronto Electric Vehicle Association, we're more interested in the electric mode and then the Sport Plus. But because this is a plug-in hybrid, a lot of people will want to know what all the different modes feel like. And as you know, when you put it in Sport and Sport Plus, the exhaust automatically is sport exhaust. It gets turned on, so the car becomes noisier. We're gonna switch it to hybrid, so it's in hybrid now, and then we're gonna switch it to sport, and then now we're in Sport Plus. And right away you can hear the engine quite a bit. But at any time, let's see how the car reacts if we put it back in full electric, sport, hybrid, e-power. See the e-power? Okay, no, it went back. So for some reason, maybe under heavy loads or whatever, the car would not switch right away back to e-power. But here in this instance, it went back to e-power, no problem. Okay, so I guess it depends on the circumstances, perhaps. So that's pretty good. So we're not going to talk about the fuel consumption, and we don't really care about that. Let's just say it's not low. Okay, we're only going to mention the electric consumption in the city when driving carefully, not doing crazy speeds and accelerations off the red light. And you can't do much with the 134 horsepower electric motor anyways. So the car feels sluggish in pure electric mode. So it's strictly for commuting purposes. It's not super fast in pure electric mode. You can keep it around 22. We managed to keep the car consumption in electric mode around 22 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is not spectacular. But remember, it's a big, heavy sport SUV. So 22 is actually not bad. It's pretty much in line with the lowest score right now on our Audi e-tron in the summer without climate and driving carefully. That's as low as we can get it on the new wider rims with the wider tires. So it's very similar to here, even though the tires on this car are even wider than our e-tron. The city consumption seems to be hovering around 22 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And as you can see, the highway can go above 30 at highway speeds, which is again not surprising considering the size of the tires. So all in all, it's a very capable and sporty and a plug-in hybrid SUV. Whether you choose the regular Cayenne or the Coupe, it's your choice. It's basically a very personal decision. And what we have to mention is what other cars, what other plug-in hybrids would this car be competing on? Let's face it, it starts at $100,000 and as equipped $150,000. So you can buy many wonderful pure electric cars, including its cousin Taycan Sport Turismo or Cross Turismo. They start just over 100,000. But if you prefer the higher driving position, right now Porsche does not offer any full electric SUVs. The closest you can get is Sport Turismo or Cross Turismo, which is basically a wagon Taycan. But the Macan EV is coming, and eventually it has been announced that the Cayenne will also be available in pure electric, but not yet, not quite right now. It's going to be a few more years before the Cayenne is available as a pure electric. So right now, the only, as the closest you can get in a Cayenne is a plug-in hybrid, which this is what it is. We wish they would offer a bigger battery, over 20 kilowatt hours, and offer DC fast charging option on it, like a lot of other plug-in hybrid cars, such as Mercedes and Range Rovers, for example. It is not offered. So they figure that in a plug-in hybrid car, most people will only use it either charge at home. It has a 7 kilowatt faster charger option is available. So they figure there's no need for DC fast charging option. Batteries only 18. I guess once the battery size gets over 20, and especially over 30, like it is the case in some Mercedes plug-in hybrids, then you really need that DC fast charging option because it takes forever to charge it off the level 2. So again, a fantastic plug-in hybrid SUV. If you want to compare it, I guess you could compare it with the Volvo XC90 plug-in hybrid, Volvo XC60 plug-in hybrid. The size of this Cayenne is more like XC90. The smaller Macan would be more like an XC60, and the Macan is not available as a plug-in hybrid. So if you want a plug-in hybrid, only the Cayenne is available as a plug-in hybrid. So it's more, the competition would be XC90, which is of course, it's actually the new one, and we'll be driving it in a couple of weeks, is also 450 horsepower. So it's going to be interesting to see. The battery has also been increased in size to 18 kilowatt hours. But of course, it's priced lower. It's definitely priced below, $100,000. The starting price, from what we remember, is around 80,000, so it's substantially cheaper, but it offers the same and similar horsepower of 450 horses. We'll see how fast that revised car is in a few weeks, and we'll report back. So stay tuned for that video coming up soon. In the meantime, we recommend that you should test drive. If you're looking for a plug-in hybrid SUV, please consider both the regular Cayenne and a Cayenne Coupe e-hybrid. If you want higher performance, go with the SE hybrid. If you want the top performance, go with Turbo SE hybrid, which has well over 600 horsepower, sub 4-second performance, spectacular car. But in that case, if you're looking for high performance, you might as well go with a Taycan or Taycan Sport Turismo or Taycan Cross Turismo. Hopefully we'll get our hands on one of those very soon, so we can give you our impressions. We already have a video of the regular Taycan electric car, the 4-door version of it, on our channel, so do not hesitate to view that video. And if you have any questions regarding this car or our impressions or our statistics, please feel free to comment, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. And as usual, do not forget to press that subscribe button and to help us with our viewership. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the next review.